Hey guys, as you can see, I'm not Brandon. This is Vanessa, Mrs. Sleuth. And you guys voted and got me to do the Chosen Adventures deep dives. Can you believe that? Now, I'm just gonna do episodes 1 through 4. If you really want me to go further into it and do the rest of the episodes, Brandon's saying 555 likes is too easy. And now you have to do 777 likes on this video. So if you want to see me again, go ahead and do 777 likes for me to come back. But let's get started. So first, in episode 1, in the Chosen Adventures, we're following Abby around, and Abby is the little girl that was in season 1, episode 3. So they just made this whole cartoon is about her. Basically, they're following her and following Jesus and everything that he's doing through her perspective, but not just that. It's like going through her life. So in that, you'll see, what is his name? Joshua. He was also in season 1, episode 3. And I think that's the only other kid from that episode that we'll see, for as far as I can tell. I've gone through all the episodes, and that was the only other child from that episode. So let's go into episode 1.
In Abby, I fish Galilee. We need figs.
Ever caught a shark?
The only sharks in Capernaum are the ones collecting taxes. Matthew!
Oh,
All right, so for this shot, I wanted to deep dive into that because obviously they're showing, even the kids, they're trying to show them like tax collectors, no bueno, right? Like they're not good. They're sharks, like the mom was saying. Even the only sharks that we know are tax collectors. And then they run into Matthew. So this is actually Matthew, who we know and love. So I thought that was really funny. And they do things like that. Like we see Andrew and we see Rayma and Thomas later on in the season. But I really like how they integrated the other the disciples.
Abby, I'm a fisherman, not a rabbi.
The synagogue! I'll be back.
When you get there, find Joshua and walk him home.
Should we be concerned?
No, we can see the synagogue from here. But maybe.
All right, so I want to go through that clip because of the fact that he says, I'm a fisherman, not a rabbi. I think that's a really cool historical, cultural aspect that they tie in, kind of to try to teach their kids, for us to learn, right? Like not just us, but the kids watching the show, for them to be able to learn, tax collectors, fishermen aren't rabbis. So do they not get education? Why wouldn't he know? And the truth of the matter is that back in that day, you started going to school and you memorized the Torah, right? And then you keep going into school and then you memorize the whole Old Testament. But if you're not really good at it, at age 13, you have to pick a trade. You don't get picked or selected by a rabbi. So that kind of like, it got me. It got me a little emotional. And I'm an emotional person, so I tear up about everything. So that's why I wanted to talk about that scene, because it was just the fact that they included that detail and are showing like just the historicalness about it. So in this episode, let me clarify a little bit more. In this episode, Abby is like super curious and asks a ton of questions, right? And the question that she's dying to get answered is, why did God create wasps, right? So like this whole episode, we're following her and she's like dying to find out like why, like she's trying to go to the synagogue and asking why God would create wasps. Like, what is going on? All right, and I want to go to this next scene where she's actually approaches the synagogue and is trying to speak to the rabbi, and let's see how he reacts.
Wow.
Meh, I've seen better.
Abby,
Ah!
your disguises continue to impress.
Synagogue inspector. Free menorah. Rabbi, I have a quick question about wasps.
Oh, I'm sorry, Abby. Very busy. So much
Okay,
to
well, how
a
about
lot
just
of,
one question about 3 of the 10 Commandments?
Shalom, Abby.
Oh, look, it's your friend Joshua.
I love
Bye.
this.
Who have you got there?
All right, so a few things that I wanted to talk through there. Since we're super sleuths, right? I wanted to talk about those different costumes that she has. So she has SPQR, so she's pretending to be a Roman. The next one was like a menorah and stuff like that. One of the shots was Hebrew letters. Like she was acting like a baby and it was Hebrew letters. And then I sleuthed it out, right? Like I wanted to find out what do those letters mean? And it said Moshe, which is Moses. So like I literally, after I researched it, I laughed out loud because that is just hilarious. But yeah, she's going and trying to really just desiring to find the answers to her questions, but nobody wants to answer it. So let's see how it keeps going.
So what do they teach today?
The creation. Did you know that God just said, "Let there be light," and the sun happened?
You're lucky you have a teacher.
You're lucky you don't have 7 brothers.
I'm pretty sure it's 8.
All right. So for that, it's a slight little nitpick that I had is, what is his name? Joshua says, God said, "Let there be light," and the sun happened. But that's kind of not. Joshua has a lot to learn still. He's like probably how old do we think he is? Like maybe in the 9 to 10 range. So they're probably just learning the Torah, right? And memorizing that. So I don't blame him, but it's like on day 4 that the sun and the moon get created. But I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was kind of funny. Now we're getting into the parts that I'm like, I might cry on the screen.
I don't know about that. My Ima made me this. I named her Sarah.
Oh, that's a pretty doll. How kind of your Ima to make you a doll.
Yeah. Another question. Why don't you just build yourself a house?
I travel. You ask many questions.
And you answer all of them. So you're a carpenter and...
Like, okay, the fact that children are watching this, right? And right now the world has answers. Like everything has an answer, right? You got AI, you got the internet, you got social media, you got your friends, you got everybody's opinion, right? And they're asking questions, right? Like she's a great example of just a kid. And she wants all these questions answered and nobody's answering them. But Jesus has all the answers, right? Like maybe I'm over spiritualizing it, but I think it's a great message to give to your kids that Jesus is the answer to all your questions, right? Like you don't need any more. Sure, like, so like Jesus is the answer, not your friends, not all these weird things. And just, I don't know, it just touched me so much because, and that's what I love about these shows is that as adults, we can glean from it too, right? Like sometimes we get too far into our heads and we don't realize that like small things like Jesus is the answer, right? Like sometimes we need to be reminded about these things. Jesus tells us to be like children, right? And I feel like that's a great example of that. I'm going to keep playing from here.
You came here to build things?
I came to teach.
Wait, you're a teacher? Could you tell me why God made wasps? I mean, why would he do that to us?
Every animal has a purpose, even if you don't understand what that purpose is. Wasps can sting, but fig trees need them to grow fruit.
Oh. And 9.
Oh! So, your Abba is a fisherman. How hard he must work. Your Ima, too, to care for you.
How did you know my Abba was a fisherman?
Lucky guess.
Yeah.
That's a cute little slick thing to throw in there. Like Jesus is all knowing because he is God, right? So he already knows her story. Like he already knows that her dad is a fisherman. He knows everything about us. So I like that little touch.
They're nice. They love me, but they don't always listen to me. Mostly they just tell me what to do.
Ah, and what do they tell you?
Things like, Abby, be careful. Abby, do your chores. Abby, don't touch that. I get that one a lot.
Just like our
I love why do I keep forgetting his name? Joshua. He's like she gets that one a lot.
Our Father in heaven has given us the commandments to reveal what to do and not to do. Rules that help us to do the least harm and the most good in our lives. Your parents are teaching all the time. If you listen, they will teach you to live wisely. Now, do you remember the 5th commandment?
Honor your mother and father.
Yes, very good. You've studied. It's important to respect your parents, to honor them. You want your parents to listen to you? How much time do you spend listening to them?
So that part right there, how much do, so this is the lesson, not just for the kids. This is the lesson that I took, right? Like, how much time do I spend praying or asking or, praying in a way that I'm asking, right? Or wanting something instead of just also listening and being in his presence and just being with him, right? Too often we get into this loop of trying to ask for what we want, but really we should be desiring what he wants for us, right? He's growing us whatever it is that we're going through. So anyway, those were my highlights for episode 1. So let's go ahead and jump into episode 2. All right, let's start here.
Isn't it a beautiful evening, sheep? I mean, don't you just love it when there's a breeze and the sun is just about to touch the mountains and
Quiet. My stories are on.
Shalom, Mr. Horse. May I help you?
I just love the funny bits that I love Pigeon and Sheep because they're like the adult humor. They have lessons, and it just makes it funny overall.
I would like a bowl of your finest hay. Coming right up, sir. Oh, good. I'm so hungry, I could eat a me. You'll be...
All right. So for that part, I thought it was cool because as a sleuth, right? We're sleuths here. That little horse is the horse from the set that Jesus gives Abby at the end of season 1, episode 3. So I thought that was a really, really good touch that they added the horse and she's playing with them. And she's actually playing Sabbath. This whole episode actually is about Sabbath. They're freaking out over Sabbath. Things need to get done before the sun goes down. And she's gets tired of it. And why do we do this? This is a section in the video that we're going to watch together. But she doesn't understand the full reasoning for Sabbath. So that's what this episode is about.
Just stressed out because the sun is setting soon and we're barely
Oh,
done.
no. Does Shabbat start tonight?
Tell you what, when we get home with our ingredients, I'll make your favorite.
Fresh bread with...
I don't know if you could hear it, but they start walking by this lady and they're talking about Sabbath. And that's how they found out about the Sabbath is some lady said Shabbat Shalom to them. And they're like, today is the Sabbath, right? So this lady passes by and I'm highlighting this because just the humor of it all. She's just like, it's the Sabbath? And she screams and it's just it's a little faint thing that happens as they're speaking. And I just think that's such a good little, take a good little funny moment. All right, next section.
Back.
Why do we do this?
I know how you're feeling, Abby. When I was your age, I used to think that Shabbat meant that I couldn't do anything. In fact, one time I started the fire after my family had gone to sleep, and I burned my Abba's bed.
Really?
Ooh, that's an even better joke.
After that, I realized that the rules of Shabbat aren't there to limit us. They're meant to give us a chance to focus on what really matters, like spending time with family and with God.
That's wonderful. So that's the point of Sabbath, right? That was the whole point of Sabbath to begin with, right? We don't, as Protestant Christians, don't necessarily practice the Sabbath maybe as we should. I don't know. That's always like a question that's up in the air. That if we necessarily need to celebrate it or not, but the point of the Sabbath, and even like Jesus goes through, like when he's healing the man with the withered hand, it's on a Sabbath, right? Or even the guy with the lame man at Bethesda, the pool of Bethesda. He heals these people on the Sabbath because man is not made for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath made for man, right? So often in that world, they made all these rules and they just made it so annoying to live. So like they were depicting that with Abby, even in this show, for children. They're depicting like, oh, you have to do this. You have to do this. You can't light a candle. You can't start a fire. You can't cook. I think that you can cook. But anyway, they had all these little rules that made it a burden, right? It made Sabbath such a hard thing to live with. When it really was supposed to be about just slowing down, about spending time with family. And that's what I like. This episode was so good. So good. There's still a little more that I want to go through. So let's get to that.
You have.
Ooh, can I help with dinner?
Of course.
I never knew that about you and Daba.
The thing with the dates, that took a lot of practice. But it's a choking hazard, so I don't want you to try it.
No, that you're poor.
Well, we're still not exactly rich, but things used to be harder. It'll likely be the same when you get married one day.
Wait.
But you'll work through
I'm
it.
going to get married?
Not for a long time.
Hey,
This
I
part.
had an idea for... Everything okay?
Yes. We just had a reminder to enjoy the present.
That's so good. I had a niece that just got married this past weekend, and that part, I rewatched it today, and it got me. I might get got again. They were just quickly happened to mention when you get married one day, and they're realizing I need to enjoy my child at this age, right? Because they grow up so fast. So like that another reminder of this is why we're doing Sabbath. We're just trying to spend time with the people that we love. We're being intentional about that time. And I really, really love that. All right, last section with this is the episode, and then we'll move on to episode 3.
That's better. Mostly.
I hope that's olive dip on my stomach.
I've never seen the sky look like this before.
And just think, we probably wouldn't have seen this tonight if we had not honored Shabbat.
So this is why we do this.
Such a cute episode. You see, like this is why we need to do these deep dives. They're so good. They get to the heart of the matter, and yeah. I really love that. I love the Sabbath episode because it makes you really think about what the Sabbath is for, what the laws were made for. The laws were made for us to enjoy life, because we're so forgetful. It was made for us to remember the things that really matter, right? Like to look at what's the first commandment? Keep God above everything, right? Like that's important, but we forget, right? So laws were made for us not to be a burden, but to just show us the right way of doing things. Anyway, let's get into episode 3. Episode 3 is all about Abby having a really bad day. So it kind of goes, she's told to go on this errand run, and she just hits barrier after barrier, like bad thing after bad thing. Things keep happening. And then we get a different perspective. So let's get into the first scene.
Blow.
Why would God give such a bad day?
Oh, honey. God doesn't give us bad days, though he does allow hard things to happen to us.
Why?
That's the big question. We don't always understand why, but we do know we can trust him. And we know he can bring good things out of bad things.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we should pray about your hard day. Here, I'll go first.
All right, so I want to stop there because that was so good. Again, I think we all need a reminder. Like, sometimes we have bad days, and it's not just your sandal breaking and what else did she do? Sneezing and your flour goes all over the place, or dropping a pie, right? Sometimes it's a cancer diagnosis. Sometimes it's a family member dying. Sometimes, you know, the list goes on and on. We have bad days, right? And that question is something that we all experience. Why does God allow these bad things to happen? Like we were recently doing house hunting, and the bad things were people kept bidding on houses before we got a chance to, you know? And so you start wondering, like, why? What was this happening? But we were praying for God to close doors if it wasn't for us. So he was answering prayers, right? But we sometimes have a mixed up perspective. And that's what this next scene is about.
Okay.
We give thanks unto you, Adonai, that in mercy you restore our souls within us. Endless is your compassion. Great is your faithfulness.
Ooh, y'all got my pigeon pressure up. Today was a day.
Huh? Oh, yeah, she's a mess.
A mess, child. All day long, just narrowly avoiding one disaster after another. That kid sure has an angel on her shoulder.
Are we talking about the same Abby?
The same one. You see, I had a view that you didn't. This morning.
See, I love that. So they're funny, but she's about to show, like, I think the deepest part of this episode.
Morning when we left here.
So it goes through the whole thing all over again. And the part that got me was I had a different perspective. And that's the thing. We don't always have the right perspective, right? Oh, wait, this is Andrew. This is a little what's it called? Sleuth moment. This right here is Andrew. Watch.
Oh, shalom, shalom, Abby.
Shalom, Andrew.
I love those little Easter eggs. They do it all over the episode. In fact, let's move forward to this, and we'll see another little Easter egg.
The last of our flour. Good luck. Ah!
You, young one, stop what you're doing and carry my heavy armor for 1 mile.
Thomas, we have to do something.
Guess who that is? You know who it is. It's Thomas and Reva. Isn't that the coolest little thing? I love their animated styles. I know, like, not everybody's gonna like the animation style, like the face shapes and all that, but it's so funny and it's so cute. All right, the last section that I want to go through is just kind of the lesson for the episode. And again, I thought it was so deep that I wanted to watch it again.
Oh, you're doing great.
Whoa!
Huh?
There you are.
That girl is clueless about how blessed she is.
Wow. Because I saved her life.
Speaking of clueless.
Being a hero makes me tired.
And so, even if I don't know why I had a hard day, I trust you, God. I know you love me, and you want good things for me. Thank you for the good things I don't even see. Amen.
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 Dang, I forgot she does that. All right. All right. So we're just going to do the last episode. And you guys got to remember that if you want me to continue to do this, then you have to leave 777 likes as per Mr. Sleuth, the boss man. All right. So for this episode, what is this episode? Oh, Sheep gets lost and the mom takes Abby to women's synagogue, which was a question mark for me. Like, is that a thing that happened in the first century? And I don't know that it is, but I don't know. So do some research and deep dive into what first century synagogues were like. But let's get into the first section that I wanted to kind of talk through.
Thank you! I'll be quick.
But children aren't allowed at synagogue.
I remember the day I went looking for my pet snake and found it dead. And I will never put my daughter through that.
Friend?
All right. I just wanted to go through that because it's setting up the episode, right? Her mom is just being very protective. I thought that was a cute ad because, again, this is a show for people in like this century, right? And everybody can relate to that. Like any mom can relate to the fact that they want to protect their child and they don't want to them to find out that their pet may have died, right?
Relaxing.
Thank you so much, Ema. What's in the box? I can't believe I'm going. I have so many questions when we get there. When do I put on my veil? What do you think the lesson's going to be like? How many animals were on the ark? Do we have free will, or are all of our actions predetermined?
Abby.
Oh my gosh. That is such a great question, Abby. She said, do we have free will, or are all our questions predetermined? Or are all our actions predetermined? That's a question we still have today. Can you answer that? Because I can't. Well, it's both, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the answer, though. Only God knows. I love that. That was just a funny little thing that gets you thinking deeply. And it's not just for the child. It's for an adult. Like, free will, predestination. And it's a thing that theologians have been fighting for years, right? I thought that was amazing. The next scene is actually her in the synagogue. And she's getting bored. So what is she going to do about that?
Apologies, Rabbi.
Very well, fine then. Woe to those who make unjust laws.
What has gotten into you?
I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to stay awake. How do you sit there and not get bored the whole time?
Sometimes I do get bored.
You do?
Sure. Everyone does once in a while.
But you don't look like you're bored.
Just
I love that part. Like a lot of the acting and animation has been fine. And I'm not nitpicking this, but it was like, you do? I guess it is how a child would. But just how she responded was like, you do?
because something can be boring doesn't mean it's not worth doing. When I was your age, stuck in a room with grown-ups like this, sometimes I would use my imagination.
All right, so she starts using her imagination, but even this, like the funny part is that they're going through Leviticus. And I feel like they may have done that on purpose, right? Leviticus is, how often do you read Leviticus? Like, let's be real. And how often do we read it with enthusiasm? So they, as she's imagining things, he's actually reading through Leviticus. I think it's 23. And then at one point, they start talking about being like going into fire, and she laughs at the most inappropriate moment, and stops the whole thing. But and then a little after that, that's when Jesus comes in, and yeah, let's get to that scene actually. Just so it's better for us to see it instead of like just talking through it. So let's get to that.
Thank you, Rabbi. Before I begin...
Oh, they don't usually comment before reading the Torah.
I think with this new guy, we'll need to get used to different.
Hey, another Easter egg. Get used to different.
I am so happy that you have all chosen to gather here. I know that sitting there isn't always captivating. It can feel like we have questions that go unanswered. But what if you changed your questions to, what does God want to tell me this week? God hears us. He answers us, sometimes through his written word. And to the daydreamers, daydream in the scriptures. You may find that they hold meaning for you that you did not see before. Now, on to Isaiah.
Yeah, so that I feel like that was the deep moment of this episode specifically is things are hard. Be okay with doing things when they're hard, right? That's the adult lesson that I got up from this episode. Things are going to be hard. Do things when they're hard and try to see what God is trying to teach you through that hard thing, right? Similar to the other episode where all the bad things were happening, but also like, even if you're bored, even if you don't like what's happening, I kind of love this show. I can't help it. I think it's challenging, not just for the child, but also for the adult. And that's, I think, like a good children's show. Like, that's why I love Bluey, right? I don't know if I can compare it one for one because Bluey is not a Christian show and this is. I think it's really well done. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So remember, if you want me to do some more of this, as you can see, I'm not very polished. So if you want us to continue to do this, leave 777 likes. So we'll see you on the next one. Peace.